Hey YouTubers, what's going on? It's yours truly. I am back to post another video. I took a little trip out of town yesterday to a record store I like to go to. It's about an hour and a half, 2 hours away from here. And picked up a few things, thought I'd share it real quick. Got a good variation. I got some 45s, regular LPs, as well as one CD I'm going to show as well. So let me just kind of jump into it. First one here, and you've probably actually seen this in the background of one or two of my last videos, because I've had this for a couple of weeks. This is the new Pornographers, the album Together. It's still sealed. I haven't had a chance to really listen to it yet. I've heard a number of the songs on some CDs, but like I said, I haven't actually sat down and listened to it from front to back yet, but so far it sounds pretty good, and I'm always pretty happy with their stuff, so that's the Pornographers. Move my camera stand over here a little bit, so. Okay. Then we have the Flamin' Lips. Just got this off of eBay. Came in this weekend. This is actually the Flamin' Lips, Star Death, and White Dwarfs. I think it also features Henry Rollins and Peaches. This is just Dark Side of the Moon. They just kind of redid a lot of Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. Really cool. They put a little different twist on it, but still made it kind of cool. So it was definitely worth the get. I was glad to get my hands on that. It's a really cool colored vinyl too. It's called I think Seafoam is the name of that color. So you can see there. Pretty cool. But, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not 100% sure. I think there was only 1,000 of these that came out on Record Store Day. So if that is the case, of course I'm happy that I have one in my collection. Next up, let's go to this one first. Harvest by Neil Young. That was a good pickup. I am a Neil Young fan, but I tend to buy his stuff pieces at a time. I mean, it can be really expensive, but I found if you kind of take your time, you can always stumble across a lot of his stuff at a very, very good price, and that's just kind of what I've done with him. And so I found this for a really, really good price the other day. So finally got that one in my collection. I mean, I only have about 7 or 8 Neil Young albums right now. Based on what he has out there, that's not a lot, but it's building. Next here we have Roots by Curtis Mayfield. Hadn't heard this album before. I have, there's a Superfly soundtrack and a few other things, but I heard this one for the first time the other day. And, yeah, I mean, really good stuff. I've had a chance to kind of go through it. It's just good old 60s, 70s soul. So, definitely a good pickup if you haven't heard that one before. Then we have Youngbloods from 1970, I believe, with Jesse Colin Young. Probably my favorite song on this album is It's a Lovely Day. I do have some of Jesse Colin Young, some of his solo stuff, but this is just another good, typical, flower power type of album. So if you get a chance to check that out, make sure you do. Now the album you're listening to in the background is actually one that I just picked up, and this is the Howlin Wolf album. As you can see on the front here, it says, this is Howlin Wolf's new album. He doesn't like it. He didn't like the electric guitar at first either. And I did a little bit of research, and kind of where this came from was when Chess Records decided to do this, what they call electric album back in 1968, 1969. Wolf absolutely hated it. Chess Records are trying to capitalize on the whole psychedelic thing that was going on then, and kind of what Jimmy was doing with taking the blues and electrifying it the way that he did. And so Chess Records just tried to do the same thing with some of Wolf's, and then also, actually let me grab it. I have it right here. With some of Howlin Wolf's, as well as this one they did for Muddy Waters. So they just took a lot of their classic blues and just really electrified it, and I believe the same band actually played on both of these albums. So it just kind of gave it more of that psychedelic rock feel, but very, very cool album. And I also want to say thanks a lot. I'm sending a quick shout out to 821 Tone I was trying to do some research on this, and he kind of stepped up and answered a few questions for me and looked up some things for me, and got back to me really quick too. So, Tone, I really appreciate that. I know you got a lot of things to do. You're a busy man, and taking the time out to do that for me, I really, really appreciate it, man. So thanks a lot. And last thing I'll show here, some 45s that I picked up. Passion Pits, Little Secret. I love that song. I do have the 12-inch as well. This just has the A side of the album version, and the B side is kind of a remix of it, which I don't really like it that much, but I don't like the remix of this. I love the song. And then we have one of my 80s favorites, Simple Minds, Don't You Forget About Me. Of course, that's a big hit from the Breakfast Club. And of course, and the B side is a brass band in Africa. So a good addition to my 80s collection with 45s. Then we got one of my favorite bands, which you've seen in my other videos, Depeche Mode, People Are People. B-side, In Your Memory. So all Depeche Mode is always a good find. Then the last 45 I want to show, let me take it out of here because I kind of have it actually set up here to go into my covers and band covered section. And let me do this too, just to make sure I'm not violating anything that YouTube might not find appropriate. This is Naked and Ashamed. This is their single Mowing the Lawn, with the B-side Hellbelly Cat and 4 food groups. Really, really cool album. As you can see, the cover's kind of a little funky, but again, it's one of those groups I was introduced to by a guy that worked at a local record store, and the 7-inch came in the other day, and it's pretty cool, so I picked it up. So make sure I don't show anything too X-rated on the covers. This is the back. But that was a really cool find. And then the very last thing, how am I doing on time here? Yeah, I got a second here. Very last thing I'll show is a new CD I picked up, which is Godsmack's new CD. And if you've seen some other videos, then you will know that Godsmack is one of my favorite bands, one of my favorite bands of all time, period, especially on the metal side of things. This is their 5th studio album. It's called The Oracle. So happy that this came out. So I'm a huge fan. Matter of fact, like this symbol right here, I have a huge tattoo of that right on the middle of my back. Not to mention the fact that I've seen them in concert in like 9 different states. I mean, like over the last year and a half, I saw them in Oklahoma City. I saw them in Sioux City. I saw them in, so that's Iowa. I saw them in Kansas City. I saw them in Detroit, Buffalo, New York, New York, Boston, Massachusetts, Manchester, New Hampshire. I mean, I follow these guys all over the freaking place, and it's worth every single mile. But this is their their 5th album, called The Oracle. Really cool because they have the regular CD, then they have this deluxe version, which comes with the disc, as well as a DVD of kind of a behind the scenes, putting the album together, you know, all that good stuff, which I really wish more bands would do. I get so much more connected to the music and the band when you're actually allowed to kind of be there during the creative process, kind of seeing where a riff came from, where a lyric came from, and all of that good stuff. I just think that's really cool and a really strong connection piece. So, very cool album. I can say this, it's not going to be my favorite Godsmack album. I think lyrically it's not quite as deep and as in-depth as the first 2 Godsmack albums, but at the same time, on a scale of 1 to 10, I easily give it a very strong 7 or even an 8. So again, I'm just happy anytime my boys Godsmack or Metallica comes out with a new album. That's just a great freaking day as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, those are a few of the things I got in this weekend. Of course, as always, I'll be back soon to post some new stuff. And until then, you guys take it easy. And once again, thanks, Tone. I appreciate your help on that research and stuff you did for me. Take care.